Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you another video. All right, so Lakers fresh off a win against the Milwaukee Bucks. Didn't even get a chance to really let it settle in because we got a whole nother game to play less than 24 hours later. But that double overtime game was special, man. It was really, really special. And we're proud of the squad, man. Use the word proud with a whole lot of confidence because that's exactly how they made us feel, man. No Bron, no problem. Big deficit, no problem. Down 19 in the fourth quarter, still came back and win it. Had a lot of opportunities. It could have, that things could have went against us. We could have lost our composure a couple times. Certain calls not going our way. Phantom calls going to Dame Lillard. I don't know how the hell they can get away with calling a foul on Austin Reeves when Austin Reeves did a whole spin move to get away from Dame Lillard, didn't touch him, and they called the foul on the jump shot because Dame Lillard awkwardly kicked his legs forward and fell on the ground like a lot of shooters do when they expect to receive calls for that bull crap. I think they should be given technicals for that. I really do. I think a guy like Dame Lillard should have been given a technical for even doing that crap. That's a flop. It's a flop, and it puts other players at risk. When you flail your arms and legs, you could hit somebody, you could kick somebody. You know what I mean? Trying to finesse a foul out of the situation is garbage. And it's ruining our game. It's been ruining our game since players first started doing it years ago. So Dame didn't invent that, but I would love for this to be the last year where we see that trash. Honestly. So that's something I wanted to say, man. Those type of fouls irritate the hell out of me. Guys like Steph Curry do that crap all the time, man. And they're not doing anything but initiating contact by making their bodies come down awkwardly. While people are trying to dart and get the hell out the way, they get hit with the foul call. That's not right. There's no way Austin Reeves should have been called for that foul on that play. No way. And we didn't talk about it last night because it didn't cost us a game, but I wanted to reflect upon it now because it irritated me to no end, and that really affected the game. It put them in a position to be up by 1 after being down by 2 when the foul shouldn't have been called at all. So that was bullcrap, to say the least. But yeah, man. What else? Aside from that, it was a whole lot to be proud of, very happy about. Big games, rebounding the ball, that's what it was. I think AD had like 23 boards, Austin had 14, Rui had 14. I don't expect to get that type of production every night from guys rebounding the ball. But when we do get it, especially against an opponent like the Bucks, who has Giannis on the squad, you expect that's going to make fans very happy when that happens. So, yeah, I'm very pleased with that. I want to see our team do more of that tonight against Jaren Jackson, who will likely be on the floor with Brandon Clark, who's known for offensive rebounds. I don't know how healthy he would be if he does, in fact, suit up for this game for the first time in like a year and a half. That man hasn't been on the floor in a long time, but they want to bring him back at the end of the season. And, of course, everybody comes back against the Lakers, so I just imagine that Brandon Clark would try to make his return tonight at home against us. But and Vince Williams is a player who also should be expected to do a lot if he goes against the Lakers tonight. So, yeah, man, the Memphis Grizzlies are much better than people think. Desmond Bane is down there, healthy. So, it could go a lot of different ways for us, man. If Jaren Jackson and Desmond Bane are both on, it's not embarrassing to lose to this Memphis team, to be honest with you, especially off of back-to-back when you go in double overtime. Now, I'm not expecting my team will assume a loss tonight, but what I can say is they have the pieces to make themselves much more competitive tonight than they have been. They have the players that can give us problems, especially a fresh Jaren Jackson going up against a hobbled Anthony Davis who had the leg soreness last night during the game, played through it. 53 minutes given to his name. This is one of them situations where I look at Rob Pelinka and say, you really didn't give us a center on a night like this. You want to rest AD. AD has earned the right to rest this back-to-back. And Bron has the opportunity to rest because we got a bunch of players like Rui Hachimura and others guys that can play his position. Taurean Prince, but you don't afford AD that opportunity, and now he's forced to play or ultimately is going to lose. And this is why it's not the only reason. How do I word what I'm saying? When I say that LeBron James doesn't necessarily affect winning for this roster, this is what I have in mind. We have the ability to fill in for LeBron James. Anthony Davis doesn't, he must affect winning because he's the only player on the team who can do what he does. He's the only player on the team that can legitimately play the role that we need him to play. Bron doesn't have that problem. His backups are all over the roster, so I just think we need to do a better job of making sure that those players are on the roster for AD, because this is a night where it's in your best interest to rest him. It just is. And if you do, you may assume a loss just off of the strength of not having the piece down there to protect the rim. So, you know, a lot of people try to disrespect LeBron James by saying he doesn't affect winning. For this roster, we can fill in for him more so than we can fill in for Bron. We can fill in for D'Lo. We can fill in for Austin. We can fill in for all these dudes. But AD has to play in order for us to be competitive. And that's not a knock on anybody other than the GM for not putting that piece on the roster. So that needs to be said, man. This is one of those nights where I roll my eyes. I'm like, man, Anthony Davis either got to play or we're just going to lose. But it probably is in our best interest for him to rest. So I don't know if we can go 6-0, even though some of these teams suck. They really do. And are tanking. They're gonna want to wake up for the Lakers, man. We just know it, and we're gonna be exhausted because we're already exhausted at the beginning of the road trip, having gone the double overtime against the Bucks. You know what I mean? That's not how you want to start a long road trip, to be honest with you. You definitely appreciate that the outcome was that you won. That makes it worthy of having played that game. But when you consider that we got to be on the road now, it's like, and when are they going to be able to rest, man? When are we going to be able to make up for what it is that wasn't supposed to be a double overtime game? I mean, hopefully we don't have overtime again tonight, which is totally possible. You know what I mean? Just like in any basketball game. So, I don't know, man. I just think this, while we're getting off to a winning start on the road trip, I don't think for, the durability of what we'd expect to need for ourselves over the next 11 games, this road trip started off very well at all. This team is having coming off a double overtime game and now got to turn around and play 21 hours later. That's not good, man. That's not good for just assuming to win. So what I think the Lakers are going to have to do is now we're going to have to, because we played a double overtime game, we're going to have to lean on Bron. We're going to need Bron to wear himself out in a major way in this road trip in order for us to actually be able to bring the production necessary to beat all these teams, especially against Indy. You know, with Indy being capable of scoring 150 points, I wouldn't be surprised if they rest AD in that one. Because at the end of the day, we're not likely to win that game if we're not fully rested. Especially given the fact that we just beat them a couple days ago. They're going to want to really take it to us in their home gym. So I don't know that we found any answer for Pascal Siakam over the last 4 days. I don't think so. So you may want to schedule that one as a rest day for AD, even though you got to go up against Miles Turner, and that's not very good for you. So I don't know, man. I think AD's going to need some rest. I really do. And you're probably not going to rest him against some of those teams that you could secure the victory against for sure, like Washington or tonight. I don't expect for them to rest him. So it's like, if the motto is to look at the more difficult games and punt those, I would imagine the Pacer game is the one that they're going to rest AD if they continue to be consistent in that way. So that's what I want to say to all of you guys, man. I hope we can give it a go. I hope AD's not forced to miss tonight based on that leg. But he was hobbling pretty strong last night, and we played extra ball. So with this being a 6-game road trip, he's going to need some rest, man. He is. And we know it. And Bron's probably going to need some more, too, somewhere around down the road. So, you know, the problem that you also run into is something that I mentioned in the pregame video for the game tonight. Washington Wizards, they are the hottest team in the Eastern Conference right now. And we see them on the final game of the road trip. Now, that's going to be 2 weeks from now. I'm sure they're going to lose some games between now and then. But the point is they're starting to get their act together. That's not what you need when you're trying to just secure victories. You don't need a bad team starting to find their way. And so, as I said, things could be inverted for these teams in the NBA. The bad teams could be using some of their more talented young players in more prominent roles with fresh legs. Near the end of the season, looking to tank, you start having hopefuls come in, trying to make a name for themselves, like we're going to see tonight with the Memphis Grizzlies and half of their roster. And some of these good teams that you expect are going to make the playoffs are going to start resting people. So given the fact that we see mostly bad teams in this road trip, I wouldn't be surprised if some no-name dudes go off for some big-time games in this road trip. Tonight, I expect some no-name dudes to do something. Maybe not as much against the Pacers because they're fighting for something, but Brooklyn, it could be a big Cam Thomas night. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. It'd be a very big Cam Thomas night. Who else do we see in this situation? Toronto. Who knows what's going on with Toronto? They got some issues, man. Jontay Porter, from what I understand, is being investigated for some abnormal betting practices against his name. I guess they're trying to allege that he put down money on himself. That is Michael Porter Jr. from the Denver Nuggets brother, by the way, which doesn't bode well for any of this as we look at it. But when we see Toronto, I'm pretty sure that'll be on some people's minds as we go up against them. But they got some players that I know they're going to be trying to be awake for that game. And I think that when you double back to the Brooklyn Nets, we got Dennis Schroeder to deal with. Dennis Schroeder and all of that D'Lo had to say about him. He plays for his old team, the Brooklyn Nets, now. So we got that game coming up. I wish that we didn't have so much motivation for this basketball game coming up. I really wish that, because we know what he can do. We know how fearless he is. He could take over a game. For one game, he could be a superstar. We've seen it in purple and gold, so he could do it in black and white. So these are the type of things I'm just looking at from regards to this road trip. And I'm not too thrilled about. I'm not going to sit up here and pretend like I'm overly excited about seeing Brooklyn. Toronto's on a 10-game losing streak, so I'm assuming they're going to continue to lose. But Washington, when they're having one of the hottest stretches of their season, and we saw what they did against us, they're going to come in with confidence. Jordan Poole had his best game of the season against us, and it took overtime to beat them. So it's like, I just know this time of year, bad teams can be good and good teams can be bad. And we've seen a bunch of quote-unquote bad teams that are likely going to be trying to play some of their best ball against us as we come into their gym with their fans screaming and hollering. So while I'm glad we won the Bucks game, I don't assume that these teams are going to suck, man. I don't. As in, if you play down to the level of the opponent, you can't be upset. You can in most of these games, if not all of them. So the Indy game is important. Obviously, this Grizzly game is important. We got Toronto, got the Wizards, and I forget who the other team is. I believe there's one more team that I'm forgetting. I don't remember who it is. But, yeah, that's what it is, you guys. So it's an important road trip, man. Very important road trip. Hopefully we can knock it out. We come back to see Cleveland, and then we have a back-to-back after that Cleveland game. I think we play another team the next night. Maybe Memphis. I don't know who it is. It's not Memphis because we got to play in Memphis. So it might be Golden State or something. I don't remember who that team is, but we're going to see somebody else right after playing Cleveland. So it's just going to be a rough stretch, man. But, as long as we perceive it as a rough stretch, we'll come in with the right attitude. You come in thinking these teams are going to suck and roll over, you're going to pick up losses. Maybe if nothing else off the strength of the fatigue that comes from starting the road trip off with a double overtime game. You know what I mean? So that's what's there to see. That's what I want everybody to give some thought to as we go forward and consider what this road trip is going to look like. And what it means for us is a lot, given the fact that we're fighting for our spot above 9th seed. People are saying we're stuck in the 9th seed. I don't want to accept that. I don't want to be in the 9th spot. I don't. That gives us a chance for one game to kick us all the way out of the postseason. I don't want no parts of that. I want to get into the 7th seed with the home court and another chance to get in another game if for some reason we don't win that game. That's what I want. I really want 6th seed, but you're going to have to win out and you're going to need people to lose in order for that to happen. I think that it's possible. I'm probably a little more on the optimistic side that could be possible, given the fact that we have such not so accomplished teams to see right now. But given what I just said and how tired the team is right now, you probably expect to at least lose 2 more games at least. So hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully we win them all and we put ourselves in a position to be the best team we can be. But as far as everything else, man, I guess I'll just keep my ears to the street, see how the team goes. Obviously, we're waiting on Gabe Vincent's return, which we hear is possibly imminent, but you know, the injury report on those guys that are out has been all over the place, so I don't really trust much of anything right now when it comes to that. So that's pretty much what I gotta say, man. I'll give you guys more Laker content later on today, of course, midway through the game, and also at the end of the game, obviously. But for now, that's pretty much what I got. BDF44. I thank you all for watching.